presents I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttleton.
Hello and welcome to a brand new series of I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. Today we're coming to you from the ancient and splendid Theatre Royal in Windsor, which I was interested to learn has been frequented by an impressive succession of queens. Anyway, it's a charming theatre full of history, and everywhere you look there are fascinating reminders of a vanished comic era. Let me introduce you to four of them. On my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And on my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. Our scorer tonight is a lovely lady who's taken the opportunity of our visit here to have a rewarding poke around the back streets. A very warm hand, please, for Samantha. Right, teams, our first round is called Complete Song Lyrics, and it celebrates the work of the lyricist. Men like Peter Skellen and Richard Stilgoe, who I understand are revered by Mexicans for their sheet music. In this game, teams, I shall read out the first lines of some well-known songs. I'd like you to complete them. Tim, here's yours. Mad dogs and Englishmen go...
Woof, woof, bring back Maggie.
Willie, this is your line. MacArthur's Park is melting through the dark. All the sweet...
Humphrey Lyttleton's words are spoken by an actor.
MacArthur's Park is melting through the dark, all the sweet green icing flowing down. Someone left the cake out in the rain. I don't think I can take it because it took so long to bake it and I'll never see that recipe again. Oh...
Bugger.
Barry Cryer. Red and yellow and pink and green, purple and orange and blue, I can...
See that there are always bits of tomato in it.
Oh, dear.
Graeme Garden, here's yours. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me.
She said, son, you'll be a bachelor boy.
Tim, back to you now. Nellie the elephant packed her trunk and said goodbye to the...
Therapist. I think I know what I mean, but not so.
Willie, how's this? Got myself a crying, talking, sleeping, walking, living doll.
Anyone got a bicycle pump?
Barry, didn't we have a lovely time the day we went to Bangor?
She wasn't in.
Graeme. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string.
We'll now be liable for VAT.
We're now going to move on to a complicated round called One Song to the Tune of Another, in which the tune of one song and the words of another are brought together and combined as if they were both one song. It's hard to get your head round that at first, but if you try to think of it as one song without the tune, but with the words, to the tune of another song, but without the words, it may help. Teams, to accompany you, I'm sure we'd all like to welcome our brand new pianist. But until he's provided, we'll just have to make do with our old one. Here's Colin himself. Tim, I'd like you to sing the words of I'm Too Sexy to the tune of La Donna e Mobile.
I am too sexy for my shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts.
And I'm sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan. Keep up, Colin, and I'm too sexy for your party, too sexy for your party. Away I'm disco dancing, I'm a model, you know what I mean, and I do my little turn on the catwalk.
Barry, I'd like you to sing the words of I Love Paris in the Springtime to the tune of Dvorak's Humoresque.
I love Paris in the springtime, I love Paris in the fall, I love Paris in the winter when it drizzles. I love Paris in the summer when it sizzles. I love Paris every moment of the year.
Graeme, it's your turn, and you're going to sing the words of Come Into the Garden, Maud, to the tune of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Come in to the garden, Maud, for the black bad night has flown. Come in to the garden, Maud, I am here at the gate alone. I am here at the gate alone, and the woodbine spices are wafted abroad, and the musk of the rose is blown for a breeze of morning doves, and planet of love is on high, beginning to faint in the light that she loves on a bed of daffodil sky, to faint in the light of the sun. She loves to faint in the light and to die. Come into the garden, Maud, for the black bat night. Come into the garden, Maud, for the black bat night has flown.
Well, Graham's leapt into the lead with that one. And Willie, I'd like you to sing the words of The Laughing Policeman to the tune of As Time Goes By.
So would I. I know a fat old policeman, he's always on our street, a fat, jolly red-faced man. He really is a treat, he's too kind for a policeman. He's never known to frown, and everybody says he's the happiest man in town. Ha 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 ha. Whoa ho 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 ho. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha whoa ho ho. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Whoa ho 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 ho. Ha 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 ha.
With the final dash, Willie goes into the lead now with 23 points. Oh, good. It's now time for a new round called Lyttleton Country. While twiddling my radio knob one afternoon in search of oral gratification. Who writes this down? While twiddling my radio knob one afternoon in search of oral gratification, I happened upon the new Radio 4 program, Anderson Country, and was delighted to double its audience figures. For those of you who haven't experienced this program's rare charm, I'd like to instigate our own version. In it, I shall be taking calls from all over the country on the subject of radio phone-ins, and I'd like you teams to be the callers. Before we start, you should know that I shall be awarding bonus points for authentic regional accents. And our first caller is Barry from Newcastle. What's your point, please, Barry?
Well, I've just moved here from Bognor, and And these jolly jollies are really the salt of the earth. But what I was ringing was this current debate about women priests. Because my main interest is should male priests be allowed to marry each other. And I've always thought certainly if they love each other. And furthermore, what? Yes, Hinny, I'm just coming down the kitchen new. Hey.
Well, that's very interesting. I've got to cut you off now, I'm afraid.
I had it done years ago.
Next on the line, we have Graeme from Glasgow. Go ahead, please, Graeme.
Hello, Humph. I'm going to follow up the comments of my brother Barry. You were talking earlier about the royal family. And I just called to remind you.
Graeme, you don't seem to have much of a Scottish accent.
Well, I don't have much of a life. I'm listening to this program, aren't I?
Thank you very much for your call, Graeme. And our next caller now, Willie from Belfast. What's your point, please, Willie?
Well, Humphrey, I wanted to talk about the National Health Service. Quite frankly, I'd like to touch on Virginia Bottomley. I wondered if you knew whether or not on your 65th birthday they're going to return all my samples.
Well, that's interesting, Willie from Belfast. We have 45 minutes left in the programme now. So, finally, we have Tim from Cardiff, who was brought up in Australia by German parents. Tim.
Oh, hi, the news. I came via Scotland, and it's nice to have beep, 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 beep.
Next round is called Innovations, and as the name might imply, it requires the teams to come up with something innovative. By the law of averages, I suppose it had to happen eventually. It's hard to open a newspaper or credit card statement these days and not see one of those small catalogues advertising all manner of apparently useful gadgets. Now it's come to my attention that these publications are on the lookout for new ideas and have already asked the teams to contribute something completely inventive. So far, all they've produced is a timetable for Network Southeast and Barry Cryer's tax return. So, teams, time to do better now and describe for us some exciting new inventions that you consider might be of interest to the people at the Innovations catalogue. Tim, I want you to start.
You could buy a solar-powered Swiss Army toothpick. 8 picks for all size of gap. Or video minus. Quick while you're behind, Tim. Video minus. Just tap in a few numbers and Video Minus will turn off the television just as the programme gets exciting.
Thank you, Tim. Barry, some innovations from you, please.
There's the new combined Kalashnikov and funnel for opening milk cartons. Reversible periscope for self-hemorrhoidectomy. Oh, dear.
Willie, how about you?
A waste disposal unit that sounds like Lloyd Grossman. They've done that already. You will not fail to thrill to the whistling dildo. A lot more fun than Ronnie Ronald, and admittedly not as much use as luminous car gloves. A bouncy Windsor Castle. If you happen to have royal children, with inflammable west wing. And puncture outfit. Live dangerously. The Russian roulette cigarette lighter and nasal hair remover. Oh, there goes my dildo.
Okay, and you, Graeme?
Well, there's the tabletop innovations catalogue shredder. Telephone ignoring machine. Or get rid of unsightly stains with a stealth bomber. Also works on Egham. Well, there's a row of Chippendale coat hooks modelled by the popular group.
Well, we come to a round now called Sound Charades. If you're a big fan of the erstwhile TV programme, Give Us a Clue, then you should really get out a bit more. Or try eating fresh fruit. The round is similar to the traditional game of charades. However, in our version, panellists will be permitted the use of their mouths. Each team should provide a charade of a book, play or film. The opposing team should then attempt to guess what it is. And the first charade, which Barry and Graeme will have to guess, will now be displayed on the megabyte mainframe satellite cum laser display board that the theatre so kindly provided. Listeners will have to make do with the mystery voice, which is coming up now.
Schindler's List. Schindler's List.
Okay, Barry and Graeme, you're going to guess. Tim and Willie, stand by to perform your charade. Is it a book, a film, or a play?
Well, it's actually a film, but there's a book with a similar name, and it's 2 words. And it goes something like this. 4 pounds mince, some tomatoes, 4 dozen eggs, 2 white sliced, and a pint of milk.
Very good. Why are you leaning over like that?
Because I am pissed.
Oh.
Is that it?
A rhyming slang charade.
Right, Barry and Graeme?
Call me by name.
Oh, yes.
You've got to try and guess that.
Shopping connotation, obviously. Drawing up one's requirements.
Yes.
In a possibly drunken state, in the rhyming slang context.
As in Brahms.
As in Brahms. Farewell to Brahms? No.
I think they know it.
No, not at all.
Brahms and Schindler, I think.
It's no good asking me. The last film I saw was The Lives of a Bengal Dancer. Barry and Graeme, you're going to perform a charade now, and you're going to guess Tippy and Will. So here's the charade going up on the laser board, and here's the mystery voice for you at home.
The piano. The piano.
Barry and Graeme, is it a film? What? Book?
No, it's a film, and 2 words.
Ah.
Right, here we go. Barry, settle down. Here. You know that Colin cell?
Yeah.
What's he playing at?
Okay.
Well, it's obviously not the piano.
So he's wrong and he loses points for saying that.
There wasn't a piano in Lives of a Bengal Dancer.
There was in the pit in front of the screen when you went.
Okay, we're going to Our next round flies in the face of the many chart-topping wireless programs that have transferred to television. For in this round, teams, I'd like you to reverse the process by recreating for the listeners our own version of my favourite program, Countdown. although obviously it's hard to envisage quite how you'll match up to the speed and feverish pace of the original. For those unfamiliar with the game, the object is for the teams to create as many words as they can from a random collection of letters provided for them. So, as our own Samantha now takes on the mantle of Carol Vorderman, I can see the letters coming up, and I'll read them out as she puts them up. They are G.
Who?
G.
Is there another G?
GG was
G.
that. GGG. GGG.
4 G's. Z. V. Q. Y.
Indeed.
And, oh dear, G again.
I suppose too late to ask for a vowel.
Okay, we'll stop. Start the clock, but as Colin Sell doesn't know the music for this one to play through the 30 seconds there, he's never up by 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm going to do it for him. Okay, start now. Da 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 da.
Bless his heart.
He's counting you in.
Oh.
Okay.
Thanks, Willie.
Right, teams.
It doesn't just whistle.
No such thing as a free Willie.
Right. We shall, of course, teams, as you come up with your words, we shall check them with the dictionary, and our guardian of the dictionaries is the very distinguished Sir Alec Guinness. Now,
Most kind.
starting with you. Okay, Barry.
Sit next to me, Alec.
Barry, do you have a word, and how many letters?
Well, there's one obvious one, but it's not enough
How many letters is it?
Well, the obvious one is 4 letters, but we'll go for something more ambitious than that, I think.
Right, okay.
Any thoughts, Graeme?
I got a 12-letter one.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't think, Sir Alec, I don't think we're allowed 12 letters, are we?
Oh, sod it.
See if you can do any better, Tim and Willie.
We've got 11 words here.
I've got
2 silent P's.
I've got a
Birdie,
novel by Geoffrey Archer. I suppose the 9-letter word guguguzboosh.
This is the sound made by a South American water vole.
Just a moment, we'll just,
Extraordinary.
we'll just refer to our dictionary.
Ah.
Yes, Tim, it's in the dictionary.
Ah.
And it's exactly as you described it, so you're the winner of that round. We're going to go on to the next round, which is called Censored Songs. On a recent visit to my newsagent, I was appalled by the proliferation of smutty and salacious material. As a protest, I resolved to buy my monthly edition of Health and Efficiency elsewhere. Now, I'd like you, please, teams, to sing a selection of songs by an artist of my choosing, but taking care to censor out, using the in-house buzzer system, any words liable to offend our more sensitive listeners. You'll be accompanied on the piano by Colin Sell, who tells me that he is, in fact, an expert in his field. If only he'd stay there. Frightening the cows. Barry and Graeme, you're going to start now, and I'd like you, please, to censor a selection of some of the smuttier work of the Beatles.
She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. She loves you, yeah, yeah, yeah. And with a like that, you know you should be glad. We all in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, yellow submarine. We all in a yellow submarine, a yellow submarine, yellow submarine, and our friends are all aboard. Many more of them next door, and the band begins to. What would you do if I lend me your, and I'll try not to. Oh, I get high with a little from my friends. I get high with a little from my friends. I'm gonna with a little help from my friends.
Very tasteful. Tim and Willie, I'd like you to censor a selection of Walt Disney songs.
Hi-ho, it's off we go. Zippity, zippity yay. My oh my, what a wonderful. Someday my will come. Someday my love, and how thrilling that moment will be when the prince of my dreams, me. I saw a peanut stand, heard a rubber band. I saw a needle that winked its eye. But I think I will see everything when I see an elephant.
But as we approach the end of the show, I noticed that Time's winged chariot is waiting to depart. Time's winged horse is ready to go, and luckily Time's winged bucket and shovel is handy. Before we go, teams, it's just time for a quick round of Butcher's Film Club. In this round, teams, I'd like you to suggest some titles of films likely to be popular with an audience of butchers. And we'll start with you, whoever.
Well, one of the greatest butchers of all time is going to star in this new film. It's Laura Bobbitt. Mrs. Bobbitt in Free Willy.
Let's get Jurassic Pork out of the way.
How about the good, the bad, and the awful?
Butcher Cassidy and the Sundance Kidneys.
Starring Poulet Newman and Rabbit Redford.
Hazlitt Mince of Denmark. Or the short version, Cutlet. Who Framed Roger Giblet?
Abattoir and Costello in Brawn Free. The Great Escalade Off.
3 loins and a fountain.
Conan the Vegetarian. The Cook, the Beef, His Wife and Her Liver.
You only liver twice?
Coupled with Never Say Heifer Again.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
The Darktown Pig's Trotter's Ball.
Pork Pie, the Sailor Man.
Tom Shanks in Pig.
well, they do say that time flies when you're having fun, and to prove it, I noticed my sundial has stopped. So that's all for now. Join us again next week. In the meantime, from the teams and myself, goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Barry Trier, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton were being given silly things to do by Humphrey Lyttleton, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith. presents I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin Sell, and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttleton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. Today we're coming to you from the ancient and splendid Theatre Royal in Windsor. Famous for its royal castle, great park and regular bazaar where visitors can browse and purchase all manner of silks and spices, particularly after the arrival of the spring camel train, swelling the indigenous population of the Casbah with the merry chatter of Arab and Berber tongues. Wait a minute, this is a load of rubbish. The camel trains go to Stoke Poges. Anyway, talking of merry chatter, let me introduce you to our teams, who were recently described as amongst the most notable in their profession. I'm sorry, I think that should read the most not able in their profession. Anyway, they are on my right, Tim Brooke-Taylor and Willie Rushton. And on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And a warm Windsor welcome, please, for the lady who checks the team's points, the lovely Samantha. Our first round is entitled Historical Headlines. In days of yore, teams, before the invention of proper newspapers, or even the Sun, many historic events went unreported. This obvious gap in the market wasn't filled until the publication of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, or as we know it today, the Daily Telegraph. Teams, I'd like you please to come up with some likely newspaper headlines that one might have found in the morning papers after a certain historical event. The event in question is Noah builds the Ark. Barry, will you start, please?
Well, it's actually a correction, this, from The Guardian. The headline should have read, Noah aims to Mount Ararat, not aims to Mount Arafat.
Willie?
There's some lively gossip in the News of the World. Ham in sandwich with Mrs. Jaffeth.
Graeme?
The Express, yes. Big boat to be launched in Wimbledon fortnight.
Tim?
Turn it, Noah, 3 cubits short of an ark, says the Sun. Good weather to continue, says Michael Fish.
Any more on that one?
Which magazine had Gopher Wood comes out top in tests?
Oh, I've got the sport here, Humph.
Oh.
Mule in mixed marriage shock.
I'm going to give you another historical event now. Isaac Newton discovers gravity. And Tim, will you start this time, please?
A Mirror exclusive. I told you so, says Eddie the Eagle.
Guardian again, Newton discovers law of graffiti.
And the Express, Golden Delicious bruised in cruel experiment, says RSPC fruit.
The Guardian again. Gravity is a computer, says Isaac Apple.
The Sun, 19 other things you didn't know about gravity.
Another one from the Sun. Core, what a stunner. Mrs. Newton shows off her pippins on page 3.
Okay. Now for a regular round called Pick Up Song. As is customary in this round, DJ Samantha will unsleeve a number of choice 12 inches, as well as spinning some discs on my gramophone. The team should sing along in turn. However, at a certain point, the sound will magically disappear thanks to a complex technique known to electrical engineers as adjusting the volume knob. If on its return, teams, you're within a midge's minim of the original, I'll be awarding points. And what do points mean? Oh. I thought Windsor might be cut above the others, but not a bit of it. This week's prize is the very latest in transcendental furnishing. It's an occasional table. Willie, will you start by accompanying Cliff Richard with his definitive version of The Girl from Ipanema?
Tall and tanned and young and lovely.
The girl, hurry up, Cliff. Is walking, and when she passes, each one she passes goes. Ooh. What? This is Cliff Heath. Samba that swings so cool and sways so gentle that when she passes, each one she passes goes. Blah, whatever he said, he says, I'm going to say. Oh, but I watch her so sadly. How can I tell her I love her? Yes, I would give my heart gladly that each day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at me. Be-dum. Tall and tan and young and... Oh, he's very slow.
Think how pleased Cliff would have been if he'd got it right.
He's not that much older than I am.
I thought things were unpromising when you weren't even in time when the music was playing. Graeme, will you join the swinging Blue Jeans singing the Hippie Hippie Shake?
If I must.
I got the hippie hippie shake. Yeah, I got the shakes. I got the hippie hippie shakes. I can't sit still with the hippie hippie shakes. Yeah, I cannot feel now with the hippie hippie shakes. Yeah, it's in the bag. Oh, the hippie hippie shake. Well, you shake it to the left, you shake it to the right, and do the hippie shake and shake with all your might, baby. Come on.
Pretty good. But Barry, now, I'd like you to accompany Terry Savalas singing If.
If a picture paints a
thousand words,
then
why can't I paint you?
The words will
never show. You come to know. If a face could launch 1,000 ships, I must lose lollipop. And where am I to go? There's no one home but you. You're all that's left me, too. I had black hair when this started. And when my love for life is running dry, you come, my love.
Just like to ask the audience, what would you do if they actually came back in time with the music? An orgasm, I should think. Finally, Tim, will you join Elvis Presley with Are You Lonesome Tonight?
Are you lonesome tonight?
Yes.
Do you miss me tonight? Are you sorry we started to sing. Does your memory stray about 3:15 when I kissed you and called you sweetheart?
Have your glasses, please.
To the shelves in your parlor seem empty and bare.
And your Jeff aids.
Do you gaze at your doorstep? Do you
Well, if Elvis is still alive, it's certainly not in here. I'm not going to award anybody. In fact, the points that you gained on the opening rounds, I'm going to take away after that. Our next round is called Straight Face. The rules, teams, are quite easy. They're that you must not get laughs from the studio audience. Well, you've certainly been putting in a lot of practice. Let's hope you haven't overtrained. In this round, each team member should take it in turns to say an unfunny word on the subject of Windsor and its environs. Anyone raising even the slightest titter will be disqualified until only the winner remains. If we're not too careful, this could go on all night. Right, Willie, will you start, please?
Brown.
Soup.
Nomad. It's a local allusion.
Battlement.
Barbara.
A laughing Humph.
What?
He got a laugh.
Oh, I was thinking of something else. Okay, righto, Willie, you got to sit out of the rest of the game.
All right.
Start with you, Graeme.
Haddock.
Dean.
Dahlia.
Acute boredom.
You're not allowed to chip in now.
I wasn't chipping in. I was just talking to somebody in the front row down here. It's really boring out
It's
here.
the most successful. Actually, the game was going better than it's ever gone before. Right, take it up, Tim. Come on, hurry up.
Race course.
What?
Race course.
Will you get on with it, Graeme, please?
Oh. Race course.
Repetition of race course.
Barry?
Race horse.
Not.
Tackle.
What's that got to do with Windsor?
You don't know?
Tittle.
Chucker.
Not.
Lego.
Oh, go on, finish it.
Wait a minute. Graham's out of it. He got a laugh then.
Oh.
Barry, it's between you and Tim. And jolly exciting it is, too.
Ticket.
Theatre.
Circle.
Castle.
What's that thing you have at the front of a castle? Drawbridge.
Dildo.
Sorry. Tim.
Sorry, was that?
You're in the wrong show. We did it. We did that last week. Barry's Barry's the winner, and I bet he's jolly proud of it. Now to a new round called Euro TV and Radio Guide. Anyone who stayed up late watching those subtitled foreign films on Channel 4 will understand quite how stimulating a lot of continental culture can be. Now, I'm sure there are quite a few British programmes teams that with only a minor adjustment or two would be extremely entertaining for our partners in Europe and even further afield. I'd like you now to suggest for us some continental versions of some of your favourite TV and radio programmes. And Barry, will you start, please?
For Holland, Wimm'll Fix It.
Another good one for Holland. I'm sorry I haven't a clog.
One for Poland. Torval and Dean in Let's Face the Music and Gdansk.
Italy, Venice in particular, One Man and His Doge. For Russia, Crime Watch Ukraine.
For Telefish Aaron, One Man and His Bog. And the French could have One Man and His Frog. Norway could have One Man and His Log.
Albania, One Man and King Zog.
Friday night is Munich night.
In Norway, you could have only trolls and Norses.
Denmark, Hans Andersen country.
Or even Blind Dane.
For French wine buffs, One Foot in the Grave. For Russian shoppers, have I got cues for you?
And for Austria, Dr. Finley's Kitzbühel.
Really boring on Dutch radio, Radio 4, Amsterdam country, with subtitles for the Delft.
Popular all over the EEC, London's Burning. For the Vatican, Top of the Popes.
Roman away.
Any more? It's now time to play the game called Mornington Crescent. Before we begin, you'll be interested to learn that we've recently been swamped by another letter from our regular correspondent, Mrs. Trellis of North Wales, who confesses to becoming a little confused. Dear Mr. Parsons, she writes. More. But when can we expect Dr. Buchatsky to return to the show? Dr. Buchatsky was surely the master of the genre, was she not? Well, perhaps you'd write again, Mrs. Trellis, to explain exactly what your confusion is. Anyway, in celebration of our visit to this historic town with its famous family connections, not many of you listening at home will know that I was born half a mile from this very theatre. And there are...
Currently dying.
Let's have a short conference with Samantha. Yes, I thought he was. Tim was in the lead. Anyway, we're going to play a special Windsor Rules version of the game, as approved by appointment to none other than Barbara herself. I might remind you, teams, that under Windsor Rules, only the senior player in a straight line may inherit possession, unless, of course, the Habsburg Convention has been invoked, in which case Grimaldi's protocol takes precedence. All, of course, which goes without saying. Okay, teams?
Does the straight line include stations?
It's not that sort of line.
Well, what sort of line is it then?
I think, Tim, once we get into the game, I think you'll understand it.
He doesn't usually.
Tim, will you start, please?
High Street, Kensington.
Alma Road.
Who?
Alma Road.
Humphrey knew her when he was 8 years old.
Yeah.
Go on, Willie.
Earls Court Road. A safe decision there. I play very well, Tim, unlike some.
Yeah. What's that you were saying about stations?
I never mentioned stations.
Oh, somebody did.
Somebody did.
I know what somebody might have done, but I mean, it's not...
No, well, Euston Square, then.
Yes, well.
Oh, nice.
Tim.
I'm allowed to think? Not as easy as it sounds, you know.
What, thinking?
Thinking in a straight line. Island Gardens.
Ooh, how colossal.
Any small gardens?
Oh, how silly.
No, it's got two ends, hasn't it?
Yeah, foolish.
I think you can nap that.
I can. And we can certainly win in 3 from here. This is very good. The Barbican. Watch them pale visibly. Look at that. Look at that. No. Sweat has broken out on their heads.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Why start now?
Kew Bridge.
Good.
Silly.
Win in 3.
I don't know, can I?
Yeah. You just do it. You'll hear the applause of big.
Straight in.
Yeah.
But it's straight lines, you're not.
Habsburg connection.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, sorry. Mornington Crescent.
I want a ruling on that, Humph.
How?
How can that be?
What you've forgotten is that Grimaldi's protocol took precedence there.
Exactly.
And you've completely ignored that.
They're wriggling.
It was blocking the two. The 2 gardens blocks it. You can't do that.
No, with these rules, you need 3 gardens to block.
Well, we've got Graeme here.
Now, I've no doubt this argument will go on. Listeners at home will be arguing well into the night. But that's a very good win for...
Wasn't it?
I've forgotten who won. Can't remember who won now.
We did.
Tim,
yeah.
Tim did. Very good, Tim.
Against all the odds.
It's now time for a round of limericks, the nonsense poems loved by literally tens of people. I shall furnish you each teams with a fecund first line from which I'd like you to continue taking 1 line each. And Tim, your opening line is, that remarkable sleuth Hercule Poirot.
That remarkable sleuth Hercule Poirot was attacked by an oversexed Barrow.
He said, I've got your number.
You saucy cucumber.
I'll see you the same time tomorrow.
Here's one for you. Here's a strange case, said Watson to Holmes.
Here's a strange case, said Watson to Holmes. Outside, there are 2 garden gnomes.
One's lost his wee rod.
And the other poor sod.
Has been sat on by Nicholas Soames.
Willie, your opening line is, the thing about Inspector Morse.
The thing about Inspector Morse...
Yes?
is that now he is right back on course.
In Provence for a year.
He's revived his career.
As the back of a pantomime horse.
Finally for you, Graeme. Did you hear about old Van der Valk?
He powders his bottom with talc.
When asked what for,
he said, my bum's red raw.
Scansion.
You can tell by the way they welt.
Okay, well, our next round is a musical one and involves an apparently unlikely combination of musical intonation. The lilting melody of the swanny whistle with the contrapuntal rasp of the kazoo. Teams, with the aid of these 2 fine instruments, I'd like you please to provide renditions of certain tunes of my choosing. No choice of accompanist, of course. It'll be Colin Sell on the piano. Actually, Colin's been practicing so hard he can almost play these tunes backwards. Unfortunately, he's still quite a long way off playing them forwards. Anyway, Barry and Graeme, your song is Pa, and it's to feature Barry Cryer on kazoo and Graeme Garden on swanee whistle. Tim and Willie, quiet please. Yes. Your song is If I Were a Rich Man, and it's to feature Willie Rushton on kazoo and Tim Brooke-Taylor on swanee whistle. Well, that's almost all we've got time for, although there's just long enough, I think, for a quick round of Farmer's Songbook. So, teams, while Samantha pops out to enjoy the lay of the land, I'd like you please to suggest some song titles likely to be popular with an audience of farmers.
Scylla's greatest hit, Set Aside Love.
The old Carol, Silage Night.
I saw 3 sheep come sailing by.
What cow, my love?
Fertilizer with an S, not fertilizer with a Z.
Barley High.
I wonder who's kissing her plough.
Noel Cowherd and some hay I'll bind you.
Duck be a lady tonight. A lonely life down on the farm.
Till.
I want to wash that manure out of my hair.
Mutton up your overcoat.
We're a couple of swills.
You're the crops.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Wee Willie begins the frantic search for his Winky, I notice that we've run out of time. Join us again next week when we'll be in Oxford. Until then, it's goodbye from myself and the teams, and it's goodbye from Windsor. Goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Barry Cryer, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton were being given Silly Things to Do by Humphrey Lyttleton, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith. We present I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttleton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the wildest program that takes a lucky dip into the bran tub of comedy and unfailingly pulls out a handful of bran. This week we're coming to you from historic Oxford, the city of which Vasco da Gama once said, "Where?" Anyway, we're the guests today of the Oxford Playhouse, a splendid theatre with a long-standing reputation for presenting only the finest entertainment. A reputation which, I'm pleased to say, for 50 quid and a mention on the radio, they couldn't have been more happy to compromise. And here to do it for them are, on my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. And on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. Oxford is, incidentally, a city that holds fond memories for our regular scorer, Samantha, for it was here that she got her first. Thanks to a helpful old Don, and as second, thanks to an obliging member of the university rugby team. Unfortunately, Samantha can't be with us today as she's currently enjoying
what?
Well, she's currently enjoying an unexpected role in the West End, so... In her absence, please welcome the delightful and well-oiled Sven. Right, teams, our first round is entitled Complete Song Lyrics, and it celebrates the work of the lyricist. And quite rightly, because where would a song be without a decent lyric? On a Rolf Harris album, I expect. In this game, teams, I shall provide you with the first lines of some famous songs, and I'd like you to complete them for me. Barry, here's your line. If a picture paints 1,000 words, then why can't...
Jeffrey Archer draw.
Willie, should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind?
Yes.
Tim, here's one for you. I'll sing you 1-0, green grow the rushes, oh. What is your 1-0?
I'll have a large one.
Oh. Graeme, here's a snappy one for you. I know I stand in line until you think you have the time to spend an evening with me. And if we go someplace to dance, I know that there's a chance you won't be leaving with me. And afterwards we drop into a quiet little place and have a drink or two. And then I go and spoil it all by saying something stupid like...
I'm Humphrey Lyttleton.
Well, any publicity is good publicity, I say. Barry, here's another one for you. Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair. Send in the...
Osteopath.
Willie, oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling.
Concentrate on the show, Hub.
Perhaps you care to repeat that?
No, I wouldn't. Yes, I will. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling.
God, that was quick.
Right, teams, it's open to you. Do you have any more suggestions?
Foreplay as we know it, I think. I didn't think it was that.
Any more suggestions?
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, shut up.
Oh, give me a home where a buffalo don't lie about on a sofa eating crisps.
Any more? Okay, well, we'll go on to the next round. It's a musical one which involves singing one song to the tune of another. And it's called One Song to the Tune of Another. The game is not to be confused with Andrew Lloyd Webber's popular Greatest Hits LP, One Song to the Tune of the Same Song. I must warn you teams, however, that it's not nearly so easy as it might sound. And certainly not when you consider that you'll be accompanied by Colin at the piano. Okay, Barry, you're going to start again, and I'd like you to sing Old MacDonald Had a Farm to the tune of One from chorus line.
MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-E-I-O. And on this farm he had some chicks, E-I-E-I-O. With a chick here and a chick there. Here a chick, there a chick. Everywhere a chick. Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on his farm he had some ducks, E-I-E-I-O. With a quack here, and a quack there. Here a quack, there a quack.
That was our winner this week, Barry. Okay, Graeme, I want you to sing the words of "I've Got a Brand New Combine Harvester" to the tune of "Wandering Star."
I got a brand new combine harvester. I'll give you the key. Come on now. Let's get together in perfect harmony. I got 20 acres and you got 43 now. I got a brand new combine harvester.
Okay, it's your turn, Tim, now, and I'd like you to sing the words of "Tie Me Kangaroo Down Sport" to the tune of "Bridge Over Troubled Water."
Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down, sport. Tie me kangaroo down. Keep me cockatoo cool. Keep me cockatoo cool. Don't go acting like cool. Just keep me cockatoo cool. All together now. Tie me kangaroo down, small. Tie me kangaroo down. Tie me kangaroo down, small. Tie me kangaroo down.
That was next week's winner, Tim Brooke-Taylor. Now, Willie, you're going to sing the words of "Hello, Hello, Who's Your Lady Friend" to the tune of Zorba's Dance.
Could I do Zorba's Dance to the tune of "Hello, Hello, Who's Your Lady Friend"?
You may, if you want. You can do what you like on this show.
Oh.
I'm just the chairman.
Hello. Hello. Who's your lady friend? Who's the little girlie by your side? Hello. Hello. Hello again. Hello. Jeremiah Jones, a ladies' man, was he. Every pretty girlie loved to spoon until he found a wife down beside the sea. Went to Margate for the honeymoon. When he strolled along the promenade with his little wife disputing wed, he got an awful stare when someone strolling there. And up to him and winked and said,
And according to Sven, Willie is the runaway winner of that round. Our next round is
pictorials?
entitled Commentaries. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to provide a commentary on a certain historical event, but in the style of my choosing. And we're going to start with you. Tim and Willie, the gunpowder plot in the style of Raymond Chandler.
She stood in the middle of the office. Wide hat, shades, some sort of cloak. She had great legs so I could see them from the knees down. Here's looking at you, kid. I said, who are you?
Guy Fawkes.
Her beard moved up and down like voles mating.
You, Marlowe,
she said. I'm Marlowe, I said.
God, Dr. Faustus is boring,
she said. I lit up a cigarette.
Don't do that!
She said.
I'm a living bomb.
You can say that again, baby, I said. She walked slowly over to the window.
I'm going to blow up the Houses of Parliament,
she said. Well, I said, they can't hang, draw, and quarter you for that. But they did.
Barry and Graeme, I'd like you to comment on the assassination of Julius Caesar in the style of Ian McCaskill.
Friends, Romans, countrymen.
Oh! Do you want to know who I am?
Not really, but who are you?
I'm the soothsayer. Sooth.
There you are. And what do you want?
Well, looking ahead, or in your case behind, advisedly, forecast for the Ides of March. There's a build-up of conspirators moving up from the south. At the front, number 1 there, Brutus. Behind him, number 2, Cassius. Way at the back, 23 Celsius.
Yes, very good. And what's the outlook?
Hail, Caesar.
Oh, good. Jolly good, I thought that was. Our next round is called Cheddar Gorge, and it's just one of the many games derived from famous British landmarks. These include Tower Bridge, a card game for very tall people, Winchester Cathedral, which provides the chance to win Chester Cathedral, and, of course, Beachy Head, invented by our own Sven while holidaying at Camber Sands. Anyway, as you'd expect from its title, Cheddar Gorge is a novel game requiring the team members to construct sentences by each of them uttering one word at a time. The object is not to complete the sentence. To complicate the game needlessly, I'd like each word you say, teams, to begin with the same letter. And the letter is L. And Willie, will you start, please?
Low.
Who's your lady friend? No. Lively.
Leslie.
Leapt. Lusciously.
Lest.
Lissomely.
Leopard-skinned.
Lolita.
I haven't heard the beginning of a sentence.
Patience.
Leotarded.
Languorous.
Lurid.
Latex clad.
Lady.
Leapt.
Lissomely.
Repetition.
Lepetition. Oh, your nose just fell off.
Looking.
Luridly.
Lasciviously.
Lovely.
Like.
Liver.
Well, no doubt the teams will continue to play this game, but this is where we have to leave you and go on to the next round. This round is called Critics Forum, and in it, teams, I'd like you to take the parts of critics. Well, wouldn't we all? Your job, teams, is to discuss a certain subject of my choosing about which you're in two minds. I'd like you to start off by being very positive about it until either I do this or I make a noise with my hooter. At which point I'd like you to be very negative about it. Get the point? Okay, Tim and Willie, you're to start, and your subject is the Eurovision Song Contest.
Well, I think this is a very underestimated contest because it brings in the whole of Europe together, and it gets the spirit of every country. Wouldn't you say, Willie?
Well, it's a splendid vehicle for Terry Wogan, as indeed is a hearse. It's a mishmash. It's the most appalling music you'll ever hear.
And lyrics, absolutely appalling lyrics.
Particularly Norwegian lyrics, which are lyrical. Let me sing you the last excerpt. And again, if you look at it from the other direction, it's still...
Echoes back off the field.
It does,
yes. That's why Norway always gets no points, and they should get more, in my opinion, because just because we don't understand the music and the lyrics of their country doesn't mean that
we should.
Okay, your turn, Barry and Graeme, and your subject is don't forget your toothbrush.
Ah, well, what a breath of fresh air that is.
This is what television's been waiting for.
Welcome addition to the televisual canon.
Open, accessible television. And is that what we've been waiting for, we ask ourselves?
I don't think so.
I think not. Chris Evans in Nurembergian mood.
Yes.
Don't you warm to him?
Absolutely.
That man has his finger on the pulse.
On the jugular of popular culture in this
places
country.
We won't even mention. Will the man stoop any lower?
No,
we won't.
No, nor does he need to. What an excellent programme.
Right across the board. And bored is the word we're looking.
Yeah, that went all right. It's now time to play our version of Call My Bluff, the popular television program which fell foul of the watchdogs when Frank Muir memorably defined the word rancor. In this game, teams, I shall provide you with an obscure word, and I'd like you, please, to provide some definitions for it. Right, I'd like you to start, please, Barry, and the word is... Tarama salata.
Oh, well, this is a thin sausage. Eaten in the southern states of America after Catholic services. Mentioned in Margaret Mitchell's book, Gone with the Wind, but not in the film, in actual fact. The only food reference in the film is when Scarlett O'Hara, a good Catholic girl, begs Rhett Butler for some cheese, and he refers her to Robert E. Lee's brother, Frank. Frank Lee. My dear, I don't give a damn, but in the book, they eat these sausages after Catholic services in Scarlett's ancestral home. And they are not called chipolatas, they are called Tara Mas alatas.
Okay, Willie?
The first time I saw the word Tara Masalata, it was, in fact, Tony Slattery's autograph, and he'd been in his cups when he'd written it. The word, however, actually is right. It's Tomorrow's Laughter. And it's a BBC school for studio audiences. So studio audiences have actually gone downhill rapidly. They don't know when to laugh, when to whoop, when to stamp their feet, when to burst into tears. And so under this name, Tomorrow's Laughter, they're going to involve the public and get people really who understand humour and laugh along with you. Unlike this lot here, you see. They'll be first in the queue.
Right, Graeme?
I shall be brief. Trauma salata is a corruption of the Mediterranean term. The phrase describing the horror, disgust and shock that you experience when you see something crawling out of your salad. And it's a traumatic experience, and the word comes from trauma and salata. Salad trauma or trauma salata.
And finally, Tim, what's your definition?
Well, it's in fact pronounced unicorn. And it's a horse with a horn on the front of it.
Makes sense to me, Tim.
There is rather disappointingly another version, which is it's a Liverpool farewell to one's parents. It's Tara Marcelada.
At this point, you're no doubt waiting for me to sum up, and you can jolly well go on waiting. No, I'll tell you. I dismiss you, Barry, instantly. Your definition didn't hold water, because in the American South, there's no such thing as a thin sausage. There's not a thin anything in the American South. It's all absolutely
you must get
jumbo.
around,
Tomorrow's laugh... Oh, well, forget that. Trauma salata. I was tempted by that one, but not for long. I'm going to go for Tim and unicorn. I don't know what you're clapping for. We haven't finished yet. He's got to unfold that silly bit of card in front of him and hold it up.
Oh.
Look at that. I bet you didn't expect that, did you? Well done, everybody. Our next round is entitled Just a Minim, which fans of Nicholas Parsons will know as Farming Today. In this round, team members should attempt to sing a song of my choosing without repetition, deviation, hesitation, or repetition. Those not singing may buzz to challenge, and you'll be accompanied on the piano teams by Colin Sell, who, I'm informed, mastered chopsticks at 2. And was apparently drinking out of the finger bowl by 4:30. Okay, now. The song is It's Not Unusual. Graeme, will you start, please?
Repetition.
Challenged by Willie. No, he flattened the 9th.
Oh, right,
in that
sorry.
second chord.
I see what you mean.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's quite common to have fun with anybody. But when I see you hanging about with certain persons, it's hardly surprising to see me cry. I want to die. It's not unusual to go out at any time. But when I see you out and about, it's such a crime. If you should ever want to be loved by anyone, it's not unusual. It happens every day. Oh, no matter what you say, you'll find it happens all the time. It's not unusual. It's not unusual. It's not unusual. It's not unusual.
Beautifully sung, but that's not exactly the point.
That was perfect. Excellent.
Well, while we... A little
wouldn't have
pause
liked
now
to do that myself.
for the buzzer machine to cool down. Tim and Willie, you're going to sing now, and the song is There's a Hole in My Bucket.
There's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza. Nice Frida. There's a gap in my receptacle, dear Elizabeth. A gaping dent. Then repair it.
Gargantuan hesitation.
Only for effect.
Which wore off rapidly. Enormous hesitation.
I think I'll take a point or two off for that, because it was a bit long. Right, carry on.
Then mend it, dear Georgie, dear Barry, dear Gregory.
Repetition of dear. Repetition of dear.
Well, of course there is. I can't
Two
think of anything
dears.
else. It's bad enough trying to think of a lot of different names. But all right, I give way to you.
Was the deer spelled the same each time?
Well, no, it wasn't. Honestly. As you would go, and one said capital letters, then it was in lowercase.
What do you want to do, teams?
Go on.
Okay. Well, it's almost the end of the programme now, and Sven tells me that he's rather hot and sweaty, so while he nips out to the college washroom and before he returns feeling a little fresher, we'll enjoy it. Now what? We'll enjoy a bracing round of Barman's Film Club. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to suggest some titles of films likely to be popular with an audience of barmen. Carry on.
3 Men and a Baby Sham.
4X from Navarone.
The Booze Brothers.
The Bottle of Britain.
The Clarets of Wimpole Street.
The Tequila Mockingbird. Just as I was about to say the Drambuie Busters.
Oliver Reed in License to Spill.
Easy Cider.
Low-Cal Hero. Cherringtons of Fire.
Schindler's Pissed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Tristram Shandy, starring John Wine and Wallace Beery.
And Kim Bollinger.
Alec Guinness in Oliver Twist. Think about it.
well, one glance at my watch tells me that it was made in Taiwan, and another that we've run out of time. Join us again next week. In the meantime, it's goodbye from all of us. Goodbye.
To Brooke-Taylor, Barry Trier, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton have been given Silly Things to Do by Humphrey Lyttleton, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith. Presents I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttleton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue. Once again, we're coming to you from historic Oxford, home to the famous university rowing team, which has in turns brought delight and disappointment to the city, with its 8 broad-shouldered young oarsmen and their little cocks. Very, very witty, highly entertaining. The teams are attractive and personable. That's how some people have already described this programme. Let me introduce them to you now. They are on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And on my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. Our scorer, Samantha, sadly can't be with us today as she's currently working on a short film for private release. Rather appropriately, it's entitled Oxford Blue. However, I'm pleased to say that the producer has kindly lent us his best boy, our regular Swedish stand-in, the delightful Sven. We're going to start off with a round called Historical Headlines. In it, teams, I'd like you please to come up with some likely newspaper headlines that we might have found in the morning papers after a certain historical event. The event is the invasion of the Spanish Armada. And Barry, will you start, please?
Daily Express, Portillo's supporters declare themselves.
Willie.
Auto Weekly, not many miles to the galleon.
Graeme?
The Guardian, England invaded by Spain.
Tim?
The Sun.
Gotcha.
Spanish fleet on the Riocas.
I think we should try another one, don't you? So the historical event this time is Moses parting the Red Sea. And Willie, start this one, please.
Late score, Charlton 1, Heston 2.
The Sun, Karcher.
Sunday Sport, Moses parts Red Sea.
Hairdressers Monthly. Moses creates lovely wave and parting.
Right, well, it's time now for a round of pick-up song. As is customary, DJ Sven will spin some 12 inches on my gramophone, which should make for quite a bit of fun, as he's a very groovy young man. And that's just his corduroy posing pouch. Teams, I'd like you both to sing a duet of my choosing. The music will then drop out, and if on its return you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I'll be awarding prizes. And prizes mean points. What do prizes mean? That's better. A half-intelligent audience this time.
You know how to charm them.
This week's prize is just the thing for the forgetful farmer. It's a Let's Pocket Dairy. Barry and Graeme, will you please accompany Perry Como and the Fontaine Singers singing A, You're Adorable?
You're adorable.
B, you're so beautiful. C, you're a cutie full of charm. D, you're a darling. And E, you're exciting. F, you're a feather in my arms. G, you look good to me. Q, you're the one I idolize. J, you're like Jack and Jill. K, you're so kissable. L, is the light in your eyes. M, oh, yes. Not that, but we won't.
first time we've ever had the music come back on the next track. Tim and Willie, will you please accompany Donald O'Connor and Doris Day singing No Two People?
Never before and never again. Never before and never again. Could anything more romantic ever been so in love?
Been so in love.
Been so in love.
Been so in love.
It's incredible. No two people have ever been so in love as my lovely dove and I. Because at its peak we are the most unusual couple on earth.
Oh, no two people have ever moon, such a moon,
such a moon.
June, such a June,
such a
spoon, such a spoon.
What he means is that no two people have ever been so in tune as my macaroon and I.
And when we kiss...
And when we kiss...
Oh, when we kiss...
Well, it's like...
Well, it's historical. It's hysterical.
Let me tell it.
Most certainly, darling.
No two people have ever been so in love.
Been so in love.
Been so in love.
It's impossible. It's easy.
Now, after extensive lobbying by the Association of British Masochists, I have, in a moment of pitiable weakness, bowed to pressure and allowed Colin Sell to have a go in this round. So, Colin, will you please accompany Vladimir Ashkenazy playing Tchaikovsky's Piano Concerto No. 1 in A... in B-flat minor, Opus 23.
Now what you've done, Hump.
That was one of the worst moments of my life. Our next round is called Word for Word, and there was some doubt as to exactly how this round would fit into the show. In it, the teams should take it in turns to speak a series of words that are completely unconnected with each other, thereby constructing a series of totally meaningless and incomprehensible utterances. So, what's new? During the course of play, the opposing team may challenge if they think they've spotted a connection. If I uphold the challenge, then the challengers take over, and so on, so on. Right, Tim and Willie, I'd like you to start and exchange some unconnected words. So stand by, Barry and Graeme, and spot that connection.
Corset.
Trough.
Plum.
Gorgonzola.
Scissors.
Peach. Barry.
Scissors are best for cutting gorgonzola. You never use a knife for gorgonzola. Cheese connoisseurs use scissors.
Will you keep the details of your home life to yourself, Barry? No, I don't. I've never cut gorgonzola with scissors.
That doesn't surprise me, Humphrey.
Shears. Shears, yes, but not scissors.
Cheers, Humphrey.
Carry on, Tim and Willie.
Shears.
Abdomen.
Cruet.
Crutch.
Moonshine.
Whistle.
Closet.
Deviant.
Umbrella.
Stand.
Pudding.
Basin.
Exit.
Entrance.
Radio.
Graeme.
Television.
Set.
Challenge from Graeme.
Did you say shears, Tim?
Yes, sir, I'll
Graeme, what's
accept
that?
the connection.
Right.
So will you take it up? Graeme and Barry.
Evening.
Pardon?
I was just making polite conversation.
Evening.
Thought I saw somebody out there.
All.
Multitude.
Erogenous.
Zone.
Twilight.
Chair.
Challenge from Willie.
There was a series called Twilight Chair.
I remember it well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, let's go on to the next game.
Twilight.
This is a round called Euro TV and Radio Guide. As the Channel Tunnel opens, teams, and Le Shuttle brings us another step nearer Europe, it seems clear that increasingly we shall be required to share much of our uniquely British culture with our foreign neighbours. It's sobering to think that the French too might soon be enjoying the delights of Le Spotted Dick, Les Morris Dancers, and Monsieur Blobby. In this round, I'd like you please to turn your attentions to another area of British culture and suggest, with the help of a few minor adjustments, some continental versions of some of our own much-loved TV and radio programmes. Willie?
The bill is going to France as l'addition.
They're also getting the Monet programme, too. Iraq, that well-known European country. Baghdad's army.
The riff-raff element is going to Germany as the riff-Luftwaffe element.
Holland is getting bullseye. And Emmental Farm. Sorry.
Chinese radio. Start the Wok with Melvin Blagg.
Even one for the Australians. Have I got ruse for you?
They've sold Watchdog to Korea as dinner.
Israel, this is your life already?
Right, now for a game called Winking. Oh, shut up. These are the rules. There are 4 chairs arranged in a semicircle. A team member sits on each chair except for one, which is kept empty. Behind each chair, including the empty one team member should stand with his hands resting on the chair, but not touching the team member sitting on it. The team member standing behind the empty chair starts the game by winking at one of his sitting team members, who must try to leave his chair and dash to an empty one. The one standing behind him, however, must try to stop him from going by putting his hands on his shoulders, and if he does this quickly enough, the player in the chair must remain where he is until he's winked at again. If he manages to get away, the one who failed to keep him must wink at someone else to fill his chair. Now, whoever's winking must be cunning. He can wink almost imperceptibly, or he can gaze steadily at one part of the circle and then quickly wink in the opposite direction. After the sitters have been winked at, the sitters stand and wink at the standers who are now sitting. Well, I notice the teams have already been playing this game while I've been talking, so we'll go on to the next round. Right, with the scores trotting along more or less healthily, We have come to the time when we play the game called Mornington Crescent. Before we start the game proper, regular listeners will recall that we've yet to announce the winner of our Mornington Crescent deliberate mistake competition. Well, as might be expected, the competition whipped up a frenzy of interest, and the first card out of the hat came from Mrs. Trellis of North Wales. As indeed did the next 340. Mrs. Trellis cleverly spotted that Barry Cryer made an illegal move in Regent's Park. So a postal order for £10 goes to Mrs. Trellis and a fine of 50 goes to Barry. This week, teams, to celebrate our visit to Oxford, we'll be playing varsity rules. So colleging and bumping are permissible on the diagonal, but the Ashmolean defence may only be invoked after a Nuffield. Now, teams, I hope you'll accept these variations and the obvious tactical advantage that the Oxford version will afford Graeme. And that we won't have any of those petty disputes and bickerings that have occasionally marred the game in the past. Tim, will you start, please?
Why should he start?
And Stim.
Hello, Stump.
Carry on, Tim.
Albemarle Street.
Birdcage Walk.
I shall do a little light Nuffielding. Tregunta Road.
Ah. Little Clarendon Street.
Oh, it's that kind of street, is it?
Brewer Street. Thank you. Don't give it away.
Street.
Yep.
Okay.
The fans loved it.
Time's up. Any bickering, I'll let that go. Old Compton Street. Go on.
Oh, you're going to love this, fan. Portobello Road. Well spotted.
Not after Brewers. No.
He's letting them get away with murder.
Woodstock Road.
Yeah. No.
Graeme.
Yes.
Nice.
Colleging and bumping are only permissible on the diagonal. You weren't on the diagonal.
Brewer Old Compton preceded.
It's not on the diagonal.
How can you tell
He
from
was
there?
so far off the diagonals, almost straight for the first time in his life.
Willie, I didn't ask you to come in and dot the I's and cross the T's.
It's all right.
Whose turn is it now?
Yours. And mine's a large one, okay?
Self-praise is no recommendation.
Come on, let's be serious. Come on, your turn, Tim.
Chelsea High Street. Sorry, High Street, Chelsea.
Take it first.
You're not going to say anything about that then, Hum?
I don't understand your challenge.
Well, Tim immediately understood that he'd inverted it and had to recoup.
Doesn't say anything about inverting it.
I just don't believe this is happening.
No, carry on, Barry. Stop quibbling. Carry on.
Oh, God. King's Road.
Mornington Crescent. Oh.
Yes.
Stewart's inquiry.
You panicked.
If you can win like that, I mean...
What, that easily?
Yeah. Cheaply is the word I was looking for.
It was perfectly fair. Wasn't it, audience? There, so...
I like Oxford. The air is so bracing. The people so wise.
But in fact, because of that little bit of Ashmolean defence which was introduced into the rules for this particular version of the game, Graeme and Barry are the winners. I said that just to shut them up. Now it's time for a round of limericks, the simple rhyme scheme that was, as you'd expect, originally devised in the Irish town of Cork. Teams, I shall furnish you each with a fertile first line, which I'd like you to complete in limerick form, taking one line each. And Barry, I'm going to start with you. The best way to eat avocado?
Best way to eat avocado is underneath Miss Bridget Bardo.
Well, it was in the 40s.
When I practiced my naughties.
With the help of old Dr. Bernardo.
Good one for you here, Willie. One Christmas I lost my Satsuma.
One Christmas, I lost my Satsuma. No, not there. There's no truth in the rumour.
No. Not under my hat.
Up my trousers, you prat.
My God, have you no sense of humour?
Graeme, your first line is, after eating a large bowl of prunes.
I put on a tape of the Goons.
I suddenly laughed.
There's a fearsome noise aft.
Oh, bang go my blue pantaloons.
And Tim, the first line for you. While squeezing the juice from a lime.
While squeezing the juice from a lime, I found I was stuck for a rhyme.
My first thought was orange.
And then I thought, pint.
Good God, is that really the time?
Right, let's go to the next round. It's called The Singer and the Song. It's always worth waiting for a musical round. And while we do, we may as well play this. Teams, I'm going to invite you each to sing a well-known song in the style of a famous person. And appropriately enough for a game that involves juxtaposing the improbable, Colin will be seated at the piano. By the way, if there's anybody at the back of our audience who can't hear Colin properly, there's a coach party of music lovers in the front row who I understand are willing to swap places. Willie, I'd like you to start by singing I Talk to the Trees in the style of Prince Charles.
I talk to the trees, hello trees, but they don't listen to me. I talk to the stars, hello Farrah Fawcett Major, but they never hear me. The breeze isn't coming to stop me to hear what I say. I talk to them all in vain.
Tim, it's your turn now. I'd like you to sing My Old Man's a Dustman in the style of Barbara Cartland.
Now, here's a little story. To tell it is must about an unsung hero. I love heroes, don't you? I think it moves away your dust. Apparently they do that. And some people make a fortune. Others earn a mint from medicines and things. My old man don't earn much. In fact, he's flipping skins. Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman hat. He wears called by me trousers. And he lives in the council flat. Not.
And for you, Barry, please sing Some Enchanted Evening in the style of Alfred Hitchcock.
Some enchanted good evening. You may see a stranger
You may see a stranger on a train. Somehow you know even then, that somehow you'll stab her again and again. Once you have found her, never let her go. Get her by the throat. Once you have found her, never let her get her. Good night.
And finally, Graeme, I'd like you to sing Fly Me to the Moon in the style of Patrick Moore.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. Thank you very much indeed. In other words, darling, kiss me. Well, what was wrong? Thank you.
That's just about all we've got time for. There's just long enough, I think, for a quick round of Baker's Film Club. So teams, while Sven pops out to put a bun in the oven, I'd like you please to come up with some titles of films likely to be popular with an audience of bakers. Off you go.
Ben-Hur. Citizen Cake.
The Last Temptation of Crust.
Puff the Magic Pastry. It's Gone with the Wind.
The Pie That Came In From the Cold.
On a clear day, you can see forever.
Sean Granary in Cream Finger.
Dr. Strangelove.
4 muffins and a profiterole.
Sharon Scone in Baker's Instinct.
Bring me the bread of Alfredo Garcia.
Well, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I really have to...
Honey, I Shrunk the Quiche.
Well, I noticed from the big hand sweeping round my little ticker that Sven's up to his old tricks again, and it's time to say goodbye from Oxford. So from the teams, Sven and myself, goodbye.
Tim Brooke-Taylor, Barry Trier, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton were being given Silly Things to Do by Humphrey Lyttleton, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith. Presents I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttleton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the programme that has become a radio institution. Before we meet the patients, however, I'm pleased to say that they've recently been presented with what appears to be a United Nations award. It's a UN Funniest Contribution to World Comedy Award. I'm sorry, on closer inspection I notice that it is in fact an unfunniest concert. The winners are, on my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. And on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And back this week in her usual position, please also welcome the delightful Samantha. I must say I'm much relieved to see Samantha back again. She's been my right hand for many a year. Our first round is entitled Missed Hits. It's often occurred to me that otherwise first-rate programs, plays, books and films have often sunk without trace for want of a decent title. Teams, I'd like you please to come up with some interesting suggestions for me. And when you've done that, think up some titles that would have been surefire #1 smash failures. Barry, will you start, please?
I wrote a film called 4 Engagements and a Head Cold. Didn't happen. As it didn't just again then.
The Wizard of Onga.
Good Morning Vietnam with Anne and Nick.
Alan Clark's House Party. Called A Bun in the Coven.
What do you give the man who's had everybody?
The Full Back of Notre Dame. Through the ear hole. And I cleaned that up.
A Man Called Sheep.
I wrote a song called Trouble Over Bridgewater, and that didn't...
Well, that's got us off to a good start. Our next round is called One Song to the Tune of Another, which means each team member singing one song to the tune of another. It's not to be confused with one song to the tune of an otter, which is a practice frowned upon by the RSPCA. Teams, before you start, you should know that you'll be accompanied on the piano by Colin, who I understand has recently embraced reincarnation. And who knows, in a future life, he may return as a musician. Barry, will you please sing the words of I'm the Leader of the Gang I Am by Gary Glitter to the tune of Feelings?
Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on. Come on, come on. Come on, do you wanna be in my gang? My gang, do you wanna be in my gang? Oh, yeah, do. Wanna be in my gang? My gang, my gang. Do you wanna be in my gang?
Okay, now, Tim, will you please sing the words of Blue Suede Shoes to the tune of You'll Never Walk Alone?
Well, it's 1 for the money, 2 for the show, 3 to get ready. Now go, cat, go. But don't you step on my blue suede shoes. You can do anything but lay off my blue suede shoes. Well, you can knock me down, step in my face, slander my name all over the place. Come here to do anything that you want to do, but honey, lay off my blue suede. We'll meet up shortly, Colin.
Graeme, for you, the words of Bridge Over Troubled Water to the tune of Postman Pat.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I'll dry them all. I'm on your side. Oh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. All together. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you, I'll take your part, when darkness comes and pain is all around.
Willie, if this is a shorter one, it'll win you the round. You're going to sing the words of Do Ya Think I'm Sexy to the tune of Try a Little Tenderness.
If you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, sugar, let me know. If you really need me, just reach out and touch me. Come on, honey, tell me so. She's acting shy, looking for an answer. Come on, honey, let's spend the night together. Now hold on a minute before we go much further. Give me a dime so I can phone my mother. They catch a cab to his high-rise apartment. At last he can tell her exactly what his heart meant. Oh, if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, honey, tell me so. If you really need me, just reach out and touch me. Come.
You didn't win the round. The next round's a lively, entertaining version of the TV programme called Through the Keyhole. The original, you recall, involves Lloyd Grossman poking about in famous people's homes. This isn't to be confused with the thing in which amateur chefs are encouraged to knock up unrecognisable meals. That's called McDonald's. In our version, I shall ask each team in turn to go outside and enter one of two musical... In our version, I shall ask each team in turn to go outside and enter one or... Oh.
What are you going to do in our version, Hum?
This is it. This is it. Now, in our version, I shall ask each team in turn to go outside and enter one of two mystery cubicles. One of two mystery...
You think Lloyd Grossman's funny?
Now on Radio 4, another chance to hear...
To go outside and enter one of two mystery cubicles, which have been specially modified to resemble the homes of celebrities. You have a minute each, teams, unless, that is, your mystery cubicle is occupied, in which case you'll just have to wait till they're finished. Right, Tim and Willie, would you please enter your cubicle now while the name of the celebrity owner goes up on our computer-designed, satellite-linked mega laser display board. And for listeners at home, here's the mystery voice.
Paul Daniels. Paul Daniels.
Right, you ready, Tim and Willie?
I'm going through the door now. Tim? Tim, where are you? Ah! There you are. Where did you appear from? I think it's the broom cupboard. So many brooms. Oh, we've never met before, have we? No, certainly not. Let's see what's in the drinks cabinet. Half of his wife. The better half, I might add. Oh, look, he's got ducks flying up the wall. No, he hasn't. Yes, he has. Tim, you've gone again. Where are you?
Is that it?
We've come out of the mystery cube.
Barry and Graeme.
Well, it's obviously the home of somebody who uses recreational chemicals.
The vanishing ducks.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not Humphrey the Downing Street cat, is it? And half a wife. That was the giveaway. Would the half-wife be McGee?
Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee.
No, I think it's Paul Daniels.
Brilliant deduction. Now, your turn, Barry and Graeme. Would you now enter your mystery cubicle?
What?
Mystery cubicle. The homeowner's name is now going up on the laser display board, and here again is the mystery voice for listeners at home.
Salman Rushdie. Salman Rushdie.
Hello. Well, what have we here? A milt? A drawbridge? Hardly a welcome one feels in these circumstances. I'll ring the doorbell. I'll try again. Still no response. But oh, here's a friendly dog coming to greet us. A Doberman. We still have not gained entry here. A busy neighborhood in which this celebrity lives.
Lay down your weapon.
What an intriguing inquiry. The sandbags suggest a nostalgic person, the barbed wire tastefully draped, and the video cameras, a showbiz personality perhaps, with a high profile. The end.
Well, the voice...
Tim and Willie, start guessing.
The voice was a bit of a giveaway, Daniel LaRue. I think it's somebody who doesn't want to be found, who is hiding themselves, and it is...
Miss Terry Cubicle.
Late arrival at the Fatwa Ball.
Salmonella Rushdie. Fair enough.
The next round is called Name That Tune, the game which provided Roger Whittaker with the title for his new album of whistling classics. Sorry, that should be Maim That Tune. In this round, the teams are usually expected to name a tune as quickly as possible, but I decided that was much too difficult. So instead, we're going to play a popular version of the game. It's called Name That Motorway. Teams, you'll shortly hear a few seconds of a well-known British motorway, which I'd like you to identify, please.
I'll name that. Working on the theory that our producer has a limited imagination and thinking probably starts at the top and works down, M1.
No.
M2?
Graeme, you buzzed.
Yes, I thought it was the M62, and then I thought no. I'd put my money on the M6 round about Sandbach.
No, Barry.
M25, you can hear South Mims.
Do you want to hear a bit more?
Not much of it.
More,
a little
yeah.
bit more might help.
Yeah.
Oh, you're well. Oh, right. No, if you'd said that earlier.
Who's going first? Come on, we've got it.
I don't think you're going to get this one. Who buzzed? I'll switch it off. No, I'll tell you, it is, of course, our old friend, the M4. Junction 16.
But wait a minute, there was traffic moving on that.
Didn't you hear it? I was fooled by that one at first. It smelled to me like Junction 6.
The old problem, eh, Humph?
Well, that was such a success, I think we should have a quick stab at Name That Novelist. Here's a short burst, teams. Right, start guessing. Barry.
There were more than one typewriter there, a whole phalanx of typewriters. It must be Geoffrey Archer's team.
No.
Could we hear it again, do you think?
Graeme.
That was the M62.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get it.
I think it's time you went into that mystery cubicle off there.
I would have awarded no points for identifying it as a Smith Corona. And the novelist is, in fact, Aldous Huxley.
Oh, bless
The mescaline should have given it away. Right, teams, we're now going to play a round called Complete Quotes. The popularity of the well-turned phrase that's wittily delivered never seems to diminish. Who, for example, can forget the great Oscar Wilde's memorable outburst, "I have nothing to declare but a bottle of vodka and 200 cigarettes." In this round, teams, you'll hear a series of famous personalities speaking, each of whom has unfortunately been stopped in mid-sentence. I'd like you to finish them off, please, and we're going to start with you, Graeme. Here's John Major.
I go whenever I can, which isn't as often as I would wish. But really, I
can thoroughly recommend X-Lax.
Willie, Princess Margaret.
She talks marvellously to everybody. You know, she never stops, always, everything's outgoing. And, I mean, there's nothing she doesn't know about the Commonwealth. But the investitures, well, I don't know how she does them. She talks to every single person. I'm always
under the table with Mummy.
Larry, this one's right up your street. Lloyd Grossman.
The recipe that I've cooked the most at home is so unbelievably simple. And gosh, it's good. It's called...
Through the casserole.
And Tim, for you, Bill Wyman.
It hasn't really had a chance to grow into anything.
So I'm thinking of marrying it.
And I've got some more here for you. Barry, here's Michael Jackson.
It's instinct. It's escapism. It's getting away from everything and just moving your body and letting all the tension and pain out. And it's
illegal.
Tim, how about this? Chris Eubank.
Let me explain something to you. Being a husband is a game. Being a romantic is a game. Being a father is a game. Being a boxer is a game.
But Scrabble, that's serious.
I say, this is such fun that I've got some more here than anybody can answer these. Let's listen to Alan Clark.
Nostalgia is one of my character defects, and
Sorry, did I say nostalgia? I meant selfish, arrogant infidelity.
And finally, Derek Jameson.
Robert Maxwell was exceedingly kind to me. Another one was Geoffrey Archer. And
Adolf Hitler, and I bet he would have liked it.
Okay, well done, teams. Our next round is a poetic tribute to the great William McGonagall, who is often said to be among the worst poets ever. It was always considered an impossible task to find a single poet as bad as McGonagall. So to discover 4 all in the same room seems too good an opportunity to waste. Now, teams, I shall provide you with an epic title, and I'd like you to continue in turn until you hear this, which means Umpire Samantha has grabbed my horn. And then the next person should take over. So, teams, in your finest Scots accents, I'd like you please to create an epic poem in the McGonagall style. The title is On the Beautiful Treaty of Maastricht. Graeme, will you start this one, please?
Oh, the beautiful Treaty of Maastricht was signed on a braw, bright moonlicht night. It was signed by the best of the whole EEC. A wonderful event. At least that seemed how it was to me.
Oh, the signing of the Maastricht Treaty was a bounteous day for me, and because I and my friends will go away to China and the far eastern shores. Speaking of...
Tim, could you put your hand up when you come to the end of a line? So I know when to buzz.
McGonagall never did. Shores.
Well,
Shores.
They have different customs and social mores, which some people pronounce as mores. But Maastricht is the pick of our current stories. It's easy to understand. It's absolutely plainish. Unless you...
Happen to be Belgian. Dutch. Or Spanish.
Yeah. Willie, your street's ahead. Now we're going to do a round entitled Just a Minute, which is, of course, based on Just a Minute, the show which made Nicholas Parsons what he is today. Available for work. In this round, team members should attempt to sing a song without repetition, Zimbabwe, deviation, hesitation, or repetition. You will be accompanied on the piano, teams, by Colin Sell, whose playing has been the highlight of many proms. Well, that and the donkey rides. Right, the song is Good Night, Ladies. And who will start? I think...
Barry.
Tim.
Willie.
Graeme.
Good night, ladies. Bonsoir, mesdames.
Challenge from Willie.
What? Repetition of tune.
It's the first time.
That's your first memory.
I think I'll grant you that one. So will you take it up, please?
Gute Nacht, Womenfolk. We're going to leave you now.
Challenge from Graeme.
Hesitation.
And repetition of hesitation.
To the point of deviation.
Indeed.
Barry, will you take it up, please?
Where have we got to? Which bar is it?
Merrily we roll along.
All right. Merrily we roll along.
Challenge from Willie.
I just said that.
The ball was out of play when you said it. Go on, Barry.
You cannot be serious.
Spin about. Rotate constantly. Oh, the deep blue sea. When I pass a tune, I'll jump off. Tara, mesdames. Where are we in the tune, Tom?
Challenge from Tim.
Farewell, Maybelle. Godspeed, les amoureuses. Bonchance, mes totties. We're going to leave you now.
Does my challenge still stand?
What challenge was that?
The one you said, your challenge, Tim, and Barry just went straight off. I'm willing to withdraw it, but this is 40 minutes later and I've got plans for Christmas. What are you doing this Christmas, Tim?
As we approach the end of the show and take a look at the scores, it seems both teams have come up to scratch. Perhaps we should get a man in to spray the seat. There is just time, however, for a round of Doctor's Book Club, so teams, while Samantha nips over to Prague for a quick check-up. I'd like you to come up with some titles of books likely to be popular with the medical profession. Willie, will you start, please?
Enema of the People.
The Forceps Saga.
John Gallbladder.
Lady Chatterley's Liver. Paddy Doyle, ha ha ha, you can put your trousers back on now. Colin the Barbarian. Catheter Come Home.
Cystitis Andronicus. Oh, sorry.
The Rectum's Wife. Popeye the Say Ah Man. Diary of Nobody. Emily Bronte's Worrying Bites.
Jane Austen's Emma Royd.
The Honorary Tonsil.
Stethoscope.
The greatest suppository ever sold.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's...
very well with bleak arse.
And the book of the film, Hernia Shrunk the Kidneys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen...
Cold Compress Farm.
Well, one glance at my neighbourhood watch tells me I've been burgled. And also that we've run out of time, so from the team, Samantha and myself, goodbye.
Brooke-Taylor, Barry Trier, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton have been given Silly Things to Do by Humphrey Lyttleton, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith. Presents I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, the antidote to panel games. At the piano is Colin and your chairman is Humphrey Lyttleton.
Hello and welcome to I'm Sorry I Haven't a Clue, and I'm sad to have to announce that this week marks the end of another hugely successful series. Yeah, I'm going to miss That's Life too. Now that the series is all but over, the teams are free to take up a generous offer of television work they received last week. And a big thank you to the staff and management at Radio Rentals for that. And here they are on my left, Barry Cryer and Graeme Garden. And on my right, Willie Rushton and Tim Brooke-Taylor. And please welcome again the lady who puts the team's points up, the delightful Samantha. Incidentally, Samantha tells me she's been away making a road safety film for the Department of Transport. Apparently she's had some interesting experiences with sleeping policemen. Not to mention humps in residential side streets. We'll start off with a round called Historical Postcards. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to come up with some postcard messages likely to have been sent by famous historical figures from certain holiday destinations. Willie, you're going to start. Captain Cook from Botany Bay.
Dear whatever, have introduced cricket to the Aborigines. Close the play score on first day, England all out 48. Aborigines 473 for 2. Have you thought of turning Yorkshire into a penal settlement?
Barry, Geoffrey Chaucer from Canterbury.
Glenn the Miller's gone missing.
Tim, Jonah from the Old Testament.
Having a time of a whale. Wish you were here.
Okay, Graeme, with all to play for. Noah from Mount Ararat.
Typical. Miles and miles of clear water and we hit a mountain. I'm sending this gopher wood back to MFI.
Right, we'll open that one up. Any other suggestions?
A postcard from Sir Edmund Hillary. The last time I holiday was Sherpa Tenzing. He thinks I'm married to Bill Clinton and keeps shouting, Hillary, Hillary. Have you ever been goosed by a Sherpa at 28,000 feet? The views are very nice. Love Hillary.
Joan of Arc from Rouen. Phew, what a scorcher.
Michelangelo from the Sistine Chapel. Working flat out. Pope now wants something more like the opening titles on the South Bank show. Am in agony, but the ecstasy keeps me going.
No more?
Henry V, once more onto the beach. Dear friends, wish you were here. No, there are no more.
Okay, it's time now for a round of pick-up song. As is customary in this round, DJ Samantha will spin some discs on my gramophone and then attempt to pump up the jam. An example of youth speak, which I understand to mean a hypnotic blend of high-intensity dance rhythms and breakfast conserve. While the records are playing, the teams sing along. At a completely random point, the music will drop out, and if on its return, teams, you're within a gnat's crotchet of the original, I'll be awarding points, and points mean prizes. Nay. This week's prize is just the thing for the style-conscious chimney sweep. It's the very latest Savile Row suit. Graeme, will you please accompany George Formby singing When I'm Cleaning Windows?
cleaning windows to earn an honest bob. For a nosy Parker, it's an interesting job. Now it's a job that just suits me. A window cleaner you would be if you can see what I can see when I'm cleaning windows. Honeymooning couples too, you should see them bill and coo. You'd be surprised at things they do when I'm cleaning windows. In my profession I'll work hard, but I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get right to the top. The blushing bride, she looks divine. The bridegroom, he is doing fine. I'd rather have this job than mine. When I'm cleaning windows, the chambermaid says I'm not tall. It's a wonder I don't fall. My mind's not on me work at all. When I'm cleaning windows.
In my research for this program, I actually measured a gnat's crotchet, and you were just outside it. Jolly good effort. Tim, will you join James Brown now singing "Get On Up, I Feel Like a Sex Machine"?
1, 2, 3, 4. Get up.
Get up. Get on up. Little scene. Get on up. Like a sex machine. Get on up. Get up. Get on up. Get up. Get on up. Stay on the scene. Get on up. Like a sex machine. Get on up. Get up. Get on up. You'll miss the bus. Stay on the scene. Get on up. Like a sex machine. Get on up. Wait a minute. Shake your arm. And you use your phone. Stay on the scene like a sex machine. You've got your phone.
Very, very close.
I didn't think so. I think it came back on the next track. Your turn, Willie. Will you please accompany Fred Astaire singing "Putting on the Ritz"?
Oh, very good, Willie.
You don't know where to go to, why don't you go on Flitz? Putting on a Ritz. Spin downs upon the bevy of high browns from down the levee, all this fits. Putting on the Ritz. That's where each and every Lulu belle goes. Every Thursday evening with her swell beaux. Rubbing elbows, come with me and we'll attend their jubilee and see them spend their last 2 bits. Putting on.
Right, finally, Barry, a quiet one for you. Will you join Jerry Lee Lewis singing "Great Balls of Fire"?
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I laughed in love cause I thought it was funny. You came along and you moved me, honey. I've changed my mind, this love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Feels good. Hold me, baby. I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. I wanna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and then I twiddle my thumbs. Jesus, I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, you drive me crazy. Goodness gracious.
Go home, Mr. Cryer.
Our next round is called Party Bores, and in this round, teams, I'd like you please to take it in turns to be boring. To distinguish it from other rounds, I'd like you to imagine that you're at a party. At this party, I'd like you to take it in turns to be extremely dull guests. The opposing team should attempt to question this boring couple about their jobs and try to make them say something interesting. Points will be deducted for being interesting or appearing to enjoy yourself. Barry and Graeme, you're our first party bores, and you're an Olympic bobsleigh team.
Hello, everybody.
Do you go at very fast speeds?
Well, all of us?
Yes, all of you.
Well, no, we sit still most of the time.
Are you a two-bob team, or
We're a four-bob team, in old money,
Three,
I'm talking,
too.
obviously.
cheap at the price?
But you're not all called Bob.
No, funnily enough.
No.
The bobsleigh was named after Bob Sleigh, an accountant who lived in Truro.
He invented skis.
Oh, that's very interesting.
It lost a little in the traffic.
Did he invent anything else?
Yes, ski yogurt he invented.
Well, that is astoundingly
Absolutely
interesting.
wonderful.
He must have made a fortune out of that, did he?
No, he died in poverty, as I understand, because he had a bad accountant. Should have done a do-it-yourself, as it turned out, but that's the way fate goes, that fickle jade.
Why did you take this up, bobsleighing?
Because it's there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Momentarily it was there, but then it sort of slid off.
We thought it was a bus shelter initially. Yes, it was sitting there, and suddenly this was moving, and I thought, my word, that half of Strongbow certainly packs a punch. And there we were.
Oh, you drink pretty heavily, then?
Not really, I don't drink heavily, I drink quite lightly. Light is my preference.
Oh, sorry, you're speaking as a bobsleigh person rather than Barry Cry.
Yes. I do character work, yes.
Yeah, that's enough of that. Oh, that was... Right, Tim and Willie, it's your turn to be the balls, and you're human cannonballs. Barry and Graeme, start questioning.
Incredibly frightening job to have, isn't it?
Terrifying.
Not for
Being
us.
shot out of a cannon, that's
Extremely.
terrifying.
No, it's
No, you only
every
do it
day.
once.
Yeah. There's a net waiting for you.
Have you
Full
met?
Spring,
Have
there's
you
a
met
bang.
on that?
What sort of speed do you get up to?
Oh, we don't.
Oh, 3 or 4
very
miles a day. That sort of thing. I don't
No.
Sorry, I'm not using the voice. I haven't got the anorak on. No. Oh, all right, now I've got the anorak on. Yes, no, it's very
Lovely,
boring.
you look in it too. Anorexia.
I suffer from anorachnophobia, actually, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Yes.
Well,
Death
how long
is
have you
all-
suffered from this, then?
Extremely interesting bloke.
You have special safety procedures.
Runs in the family, because John Major Ball was our father. And
That was Johnny Ball.
Cannonball.
Johnny Ball.
Cannonball.
Yeah, Cannonball.
Oh,
And then,
right.
John was so bored he went off into politics.
Yeah, that's so.
Now, as the entire nation sinks into a stupor, thumbing through my copy of The Guardian, I happened upon a section entitled Notes and Queries. This lively question and answer forum struck me as being easily read, easily understood, and easily stolen for this show. So, teams, pooling your considerable knowledge, I'd like you please to provide answers to these genuine queries. Graeme, we'll start with you. What would your answer be to this interesting query? My friends are always asking me why I'm nicknamed Nobby Clark. Can anybody help?
Well, Nobby, the answer's obvious. And thank you for the photograph.
Tim, here's one for you. Why do flamingos stand on one leg?
Because they have very small bladders.
Willie, why does Mickey Mouse wear gloves?
So that there are no fingerprints on the murder weapon. He is the O.J. Simpson of Disney World. I mean, can anybody honestly say they've seen Minnie recently? Or indeed her lascivious lover, Goofy, who ran through the entire duck family. Donald, Daisy, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Lady Bienvenida Duck.
And what started as a fast-moving round continues to...
There's always room to stop and chat.
Question for Barry. Do ants sleep?
If uncles let them.
Tim, how do you stop your neighbour's cat scratching up your garden?
Move.
Willie, why... Keep this short, please. Why does one never see baby pigeons?
One never looks.
Barry, was King Charles I really the shortest British monarch at 4 foot 7 inches?
No. All British monarchs were 4 foot 7 inches at one point.
Here's a couple more for anyone to answer. What is the origin of the man on the Clapham omnibus?
He got on at tooting.
Can anyone provide the words of the rhyme which enables one to remember the English kings and queens?
I think I remember this one. Lots of Richards, lots of Henrys, Georges too throughout the centuries. Victoria was quite good, it's reckoned, and now we've got Elizabeth II. Saw me through the national curriculum, then.
Now it's time to play the game Mornington Crescent. This week we've something of a broadcasting first, as the manufacturers of the recently launched virtual reality version of the game have specially asked us to try it out on this program. In the boxes in front of you, teams, you'll find the very latest in Game Boy technology. Designed in Japan, manufactured in Singapore, and constructed in Taiwan. But you'll notice that the box says it was made in Britain. Well, it was. The box was made in Britain. In this version, you should each move in turn as usual, the difference being that thanks to the computer-assisted movement to sightline, servo-animated, full-color visual aid headsets, everything will magically appear exactly as in real life. To make things simple, teams, for this experimental games, all bus lanes and tube lines are permissible. But there's no stopping at mainline stations when approached from the south. Right, if you'd be good enough to put your helmets on, Samantha will turn them on for you. Right, Tim, will you start virtual reality Mornington Crescent now, please? I said, Tim... Will you start virtual reality Mornington Crescent now, please?
He's got his helmet on back to front. One moment, I will turn it round for him.
Oh, my God! Am I to start?
Tim, will you start virtual reality Mornington Crescent now, please?
Oh, it looks like Angel Place.
I'm in the virtual reality pub at the moment. Ah, just the one. Very kind of you. Oh, 2 halves then. Oh, Eversholt Street. Why am I saying that? Where am I?
You're in the pub and you're pissed.
Only virtually.
Willie, keep it moving.
Round pond.
Graeme.
Now I see where we are, yes. Piccadilly.
Oh.
Christmas. Well, you can see the lights.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Farm Avenue.
And Place.
Oh,
I don't like
the Kremlin. Let's have a crossed line. Mount Fujiyama.
Not just now, if you don't mind.
Edgware Road.
Ah, Brent Cross.
No, Regent Street.
Your glasses, please. Paddington Street.
What's that? Oh, it's quite nice in here, isn't it? Cheaper than drugs.
I can see the same thing.
Yes. Very pretty, isn't it?
Yeah. Gosh, who's that?
Glenda Jackson.
Yeah, as she used to be. Before she became an MP and put her clothes back on. Oh, those are clothes. Oxfam Fatal. Morning, Crescent. Yes, you're right. Yes, it suddenly came into my rearview mirror. It's very good, but it's nothing like the real thing.
As I forgot to put my helmet on, I haven't the faintest idea what happened. Our next round of limericks really put the Irish town of five-line nonsense poem on the map. I shall furnish you each with a vibrant first line, which I'd like you to continue in turn, taking one line each. Graeme, while tuned into BBC One...
I was lying in bed with a nun.
I decided to stop.
When a flashbulb went pop.
I'm now on page 3 of the Sun.
Tim, here's your first line. When turning on BBC Two...
When turning on BBC Two, I thought, they need something brand new.
Something witty and funny.
That doesn't cost money.
Why not? Sorry, I haven't a clue.
Barry, here's your line. If you regularly watch ITV...
If you regularly watch ITV, which I gather is on Channel 3.
They have jolly good breaks.
With commercials for cakes.
It's the programmes that mystify me.
And finally, Willie, if you happen to watch Channel 4...
Then you must be a bit of a bore. Oh, no.
You can see Richard Whiteley.
Not once, but twice nightly.
I don't think I can take any more.
Right, our next round is a musical extravaganza combining the sublime ululation of the Swanee whistle with the ethereal rasp of the kazoo. Teams, I'd like you each to perform a duet on these two fine instruments while Colin Sell provides accompaniment on the piano. If only to stop him pestering me, I must tell you that Colin Sell is keen to draw your attention to a new musical instrument he's recently patented. In homage to his great mentor, Rolf Harris, Colin has produced the cellophone, which allows the musically ungifted a chance to recreate for themselves his unique sound. This is the second model he's produced. Apparently the first one wasn't a commercial success, as the batteries ran out after a couple of hours. You'll be pleased to know that the batteries in this one expire after just 10 minutes. Right, Barry and Graeme, your song is The Rain in Spain, and it's to feature Barry Cryer on kazoo and Graeme Garden on Swanee whistle. Okay, Tim and Willie, your song is The Happy Wanderer. And Willie Rushton, you'll be on kazoo, and Tim Brooke-Taylor on Swanee whistle.
swallowed a kazoo.
I thought you were much the better of the two.
Thank you.
Who's that?
I thought you were talking to me.
Oh, you dreadful. Well, I mean, you don't have to put up with it week after week. Anyway, as old Father Time begins to mutter something about missing the rush hour of eternity, we'll just try to squeeze in a round of... We'll try and squeeze in a round of Fruiterer's Film Club. In this round, teams, I'd like you please to suggest some titles of films likely to be popular with an audience of fruit sellers.
Desperately seeking Satsuma.
Last Mango in Paris.
Back to the Fruiterer.
Conan, the Rhubarbarian. Brewster's Melons. And the Damson Busters.
The Great Train Raspberry.
Quince and the Pawpaw.
Naked Gun, 32.5 per pound of apples.
Come, what's up, Doc? Jack Lemon in Nirmala Juice.
Oh, and Wall Tomato. Krakatoa, east of Guava.
The Third Mango with Harry Lime.
Tom Hanks in Fig.
It's only a papaya moon.
Some like it apricot.
Plums along the Mohawk.
Nutmeg on the old street. You're good on fruit, Willie, aren't you? Not the first time you've said that. The battleship pomegranate.
Well, with Mickey Mouse's big hand pointing upwards and Goofy's tail pointing downwards, I realise my Rolex is a fake. And that it's the end of the programme, and indeed the series. We'll be back again in the autumn, so until then, from the teams, Samantha and myself, goodbye.
Brooke-Taylor, Barry Trier, Graeme Garden and Willie Rushton were being given Silly Things to Do by Humphrey Lyttleton, with Colin setting some of them to music. The programme was produced by John Naismith.